You know me for my quirky woodworking projects, but I also like trying new things and finding inspiration in all sorts of places. So what if we take on Fix It Fingers Chappo Challenge together and see if I can smash out one more project before I pack up the workshop to move interstate. So I'm going to have a crack at power carving a gift for my neighbour Mick, who's taught me so much about living in the bush. The goal is to show him how much I've appreciated his help, from teaching me how to drop a tree, burn a bonfire and grow epic veggies. He's always been there for me, and now it's my turn to make something epic for him. So I'm thinking, since he's a mad keen surfer, and I just happen to be a woodworker, why not combine those two things and make him a handcrafted sign that he can display on his bar? So we're going to make a beautiful surfboard sign out of local Marri, as well as a stand for it to sit on. And that way, my legacy in this town will live on a little. Now, if you haven't heard of the Chappo Challenge yet, it's a great initiative started by James at Fix It Fingers. It's all about encouraging woodworking creators, especially Aussies, to rekindle their love of making and content creation. The challenge is simple. Build something from that piece of wood you've been hanging on to, the one you always meant to do something with one day but never did. Just like this really clean slab of Marri that I've had kicking around the workshop for like 2.5 years now. I never really had an intended use for this piece, but the reason I picked it up is because it is so clean. And if you're an Australian, particularly a Western Australian, you'll know how rare really clean Marri is, because it's usually filled with splits, cracks, sap pockets, and just big voids. So to find a piece like this is kind of special. And I guess that's kind of the thing that put so much pressure on what to do with this piece, and what led to it just sitting in the corner collecting dust for a couple of years. But now that I'm moving interstate and I'm forced to pack everything up, this is the perfect opportunity to reassess this piece and make something really epic out of it. So to get to this point, all I've done is taken my slab of Marri, I've ripped a square edge, and then I've split the slab in half. After that, I've milled up some contrasting timbers to do like a center detail strip. I want to kind of model this visually after those old school like 70s style surfboards that were made out of timber and had that sort of detailed center strip down the middle. I really want to emphasize that just to break things up and just add a bit of contrast. And I think this little detail is something that Mick will really appreciate, because he's one of the OG surfers in the area, and he's actually won a lot of trophies for his surfing. So I'm hoping by adding this little detail, it'll just pull at his heartstrings a little bit more, make him miss me a bit more. Now, there's two things that are new to me in this build. One, I've never built a surfboard. I've never even surfed, and I don't know the first thing about surfing or surfboards. Number two is power carving. I've never power carved either, and I also don't know the first thing about power carving, but we're going to find out. Now, taking a risk on such a rare and special piece of Marri like this is not something that I would have normally embarked on, and that's the thing I really love about this Chappo Challenge, that it's pushing me to think outside the box, be creative, and just have a go at something I've never tried before. And as a bonus, I get to make something really cool for someone I care about. And going into this project, I knew that matching the symmetry left to right was going to be a challenge. And this is one of those times where just trusting yourself and trusting your process really paid off, because I just found the center, marked a line, and just instinctively masking taped a piece of paper down the length of that center line. And without even thinking about it, I marked out one side, and then I realized I could just literally flip the piece of paper over while it was still masking taped, and it gave me a perfect mirror on each side. So that just goes to show that when you're going into projects, especially ones like this that are just purely creative, you don't have to know every single step. In fact, it's the not knowing of every single step that is usually the biggest contributor for people not starting projects. And I'm here to tell you that if you just trust yourself and just make a start, just pick out what wood you want, decide what project you're going to build, and just get going on it. You don't need to know every step of the plan, because the plan will continue to evolve as you build the project. And I'm a firm believer that problem solving and being innovative on the fly are two of the best skills that you can have. But like all skills, these things only become natural once you've been doing it for a really long time. So just trust in your ability to overcome things as they come up, get in the workshop, make some sawdust, and just have some fun. So this is where all the new elements come in for me. These are all the things that I've never really tried before. And what I'm starting with is just taking the belt sander to those edges that I trimmed off on the bandsaw and just making them nice and smooth and cohesive. That will allow me to mark lines, so then I can go back with my angle grinder with one of those 40mm flat discs and just start hogging off material. Now, because I'm not familiar with surfboards and I'm not a surfer, I had a couple of reference pictures on hand for some different profiles, side profile, front and back profiles, just so I could keep turning my eye back to that and keeping a focus on what I'm doing, so I'm not taking off too much material. And I was really surprised with how well this came out and how well this process worked. The flap disc was aggressive enough to take off material without taking off too much. I originally looked for one of those big sort of gnarly metal discs that sort of takes off a lot of material, but luckily for me, I couldn't find one, because I think if I did, I probably would have ruined the piece because it would have just bogged in too much and just removed way too much material. And after I had the bulk of it removed, all I had to do was go back with the belt sander and the orbital sander and just fine tune everything. Now, originally in my mind, I designed this surfboard to be kind of like a wall hanger. Whether I was going to do it off a chain or put some little keyhole hangers on the back, I wasn't 100% sure. But after getting this far in the process, I decided that it really needed a fin, because a fin's one of the defining things of a surfboard. So I decided that I'd go ahead and incorporate the fin and then just worry about the mounting details later on. And I want to use as much of this slab in this process as possible. So I took one of the offcuts and I cut a strip off it, run it through my thicknesser, and then I roughed out a shape of a fin, cut it on the bandsaw, and then all I had to do was figure out a way to attach the fin. And the process was really simple. All I did was find the thickness of the fin, find a corresponding drill bit, drill a bunch of holes, chisel it out, and just glue the fin into the slot. So now that we've gone ahead and attached a fin, it doesn't really allow me to wall hang it because it's not going to sit flat anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and build a stand. And to do that, I'm just going to take all these leftover pieces from the original milling process and just break them down into a uniform size and see what I can piece together. And because I want all the attention to be on the surfboard and not the stand, I kept this process really simple. The only job this stand has to do is hold the surfboard up. So it's very simple. Just a few pieces, nice roundovers, a couple of dominoes, a little bit of glue, and Bob's your uncle. Now, because this sign is no longer going to be hung, and it's most likely going to sit on top of a fridge or a shelf, I was worried about the sign actually slipping off the stand. So a second ago, you've seen me carve in a couple of little notches for the surfboard to actually sit on over on the belt sander. And there's probably a bunch of ways to solve this problem, but I thought this was the most minimalistic and most streamlined approach, so that's what I went with. Now, I really wanted to personalize this piece a little bit more, so I decided to incorporate his family name. And I thought the easiest way to do that is to just print it out on a piece of sticker paper and stick it on. But I wasn't sure if the sticker was going to stick directly to the wood, but I knew it would definitely stick to the poly. So I gave it a coat of poly, stuck the sticker on, colored it in, cut it out with a scalpel, and then gave it another coat of poly to lock it in. And I think this turned out so well. And I'll definitely use this technique again on another build. In fact, I was such a fan of this technique, I decided to further it and include a couple of little hibiscus flowers, just to turn that beach vibe up a little bit more. And concluding this project also concludes my time here in Western Australia. I'm very sad to be going, but I'm very excited for what comes next. I've got a whole new workshop to deck out, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that button and follow along on the journey, because what comes next, I think, is pretty epic. Thanks for your support, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Peace.